Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of My Ed Tech Life. Thank you so much for every single one of you that is watching, for making us part of your morning as you're having maybe your breakfast, you're having that first sip of coffee, you're just waking up, or you just got really excited because we have an amazing show for you today talking about content creation and exercising our creative muscles. So, again, I am your host, Alfonso Mendoza, or otherwise known in the Twitterverse as Tech Teacher 1381. Again, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And I also wanted to let you know that we can also be found, of course, streaming right now on YouTube. We're streaming on Facebook, Periscope, and we are also on Twitch. So if you'd like to share the link to any of these platforms with your friends, relatives, and so on, please go ahead and do so. We love your support. And again, thank you so much for just the wonderful support and wonderful comments for all of our shows. Again, the premise of the show is just to simply connect educators one show at a time. And today is no exception. Today, the gentleman that is here today, Mr. Al Thomas, otherwise known as EduCo-Pilot, also in the Twitterverse and Instagram world, is also a VIA 20, or got selected to VIA 20 along with me. So it's not really a coincidence. I still love his work, but it just turns out that we're two Texas boys that got selected for VIA 20, and he's joining us today. And so, again, Al, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you and just go ahead and just tell our viewers a little bit about who you are, what you do, and then we can just talk about content creation and exercising our creative muscles.
Awesome. So first of all, thank you very much for having me on the show. It's one of those things where I love the work that you're doing and putting out. So I was definitely excited about the opportunity to come on and talk with you. So a little bit about me. Name is Al Thomas. I go by EduCo-Pilot on Instagram and Twitter and just about everywhere. So my website's educopilot.com. I am really passionate about education and then also passionate about being able to just bring creativity and make creativity accessible to all. So a little bit about my background. I've been a teacher. I've been an administrator. I've had the privilege of working at the district level, helping to integrate technology. Have worked, and if you're in Texas, I've had the privilege of working at a regional service center and helping districts from those that are just getting started to districts that have been integrating technology for years, and they're moving into the next phase. And then recently, I finished up a project with Google, which was creating some online curriculum for the Dynamic Learning Project, which is now kind of morphed into the Google coaching program, or Google Certified
Coach.
Or Coach. I'll get it eventually. And so, but yeah, my passion is really about creativity. I've had it for a very long time. I've been very passionate about creativity in the sense that I love photography, I love video, and that is what I kind of started thinking creativity was kind of at the core. It was doing those kind of artistic things and being a visual artist. And I've learned over time that it is far more than that, and that creativity is really about this ability that we have in us, and if we build it, we can grow it and we can become more creative, but it's something that we have to work at.
That is awesome, Al. Well, thank you so much for, again, being here and just telling all our audience a little bit about yourself and just, everything that you've been able to experience. As I know that, like you said, growing into several positions, seeing things through a different lens also can be inspirational and can also help one grow as opposed to just kind of, being boxed in and so on. So it's great that you have so many experiences and so many different viewpoints. And I'm sure now that we're going to kind of talk a little bit more about creativity, how have you found your experiences as far as going from teaching administrators, region service centers, seeing things through a different lens? How does that connect with what you do and your creative outlet?
Yeah, I think over time, I think it's one realizing that, and I share this with teachers all the time, is that teachers are some of the most creative people on the planet when it comes to thinking about all the challenges that teachers face when they're in the classroom, figuring out how to navigate certain issues that are unique to their classroom, to their campus, and then being able to come up with solutions that are oftentimes thinking outside the box and being very creative on how they can actually jump in and solve a problem for a student that has a lasting impact. So I think that one of the things I've discovered over my time is just the simple fact that just reminding myself as an educator that there is creativity that is at flow when I'm doing things, when I'm developing a lesson, when I'm going through and developing a training, whatever that may be, that there is just so many aspects of being able to be creative and think outside the box to make sure that at the end of everything that we're able to create things that actually help either students be successful in the lesson or what they're attempting to learn, or for teachers to be able to be successful in the training that you're providing for them. So I think overall it's just really about being able to one hone in and see just the ability for everyone within the education space to one be creative and then also grow that creative muscle.
Awesome. And that's great. And I love that you talk about, creativity in the classroom because, we always hear, kind of the line saying, we just can't allow our students to just be consumers of the curriculum and, the lessons, but they also have to be creators. And, we know here in Texas, it's oftentimes it's test, and things of that sort. And, being in the classroom, it was very hard where you had deadlines and you had to, be at a certain point for testing purposes and so on. But I kind of went against the grain a little bit on that because I found that it was very important for students to exercise their creative muscles, and I was a sixth grade, fifth grade teacher for many years and did high school as well. But I think one of those things that is very important, no matter what age, is allowing students to create, and for us as teachers to create a safe space also where students can feel, safe in creating, and maybe it might not be a great idea, but at least it's an idea. And so I think that's something that as teachers, we often, we can start off our careers being like, yes, I want to do this, I want to be creative. But then somewhere along the line, it kind of just becomes very, now linear, and it's just this, and this, and no time for that creativity. But one thing that I love now as being able to work with teachers is just to share those tools like we were talking earlier, sharing a couple of things that can help them. And then they just kind of take off and run with it. And some of the things, like you said, I agree with you, teachers are some of the most creative and inventive, I don't even know if that's a word, inventive people that are out there that can do so much sometimes with so little. So, I mean, it's great to see that.
No, I completely agree. I think one of the things I mentioned earlier, thinking outside the box, I usually shy away from using that statement because I'm definitely of the mindset of I would much rather have students, instead of thinking outside the box, think of the just how many things that they could create with that box. And I think that that's oftentimes in education. I love that moment when a teacher, you share something with a teacher or you share something with a student, and you may have something in your mind of how this could be used, but then you get yourself out of the way and just let them explore, let them play with it, let them figure out what they could do with it, and then it blows your mind because you didn't even think about anything along those lines, and then it makes everyone better because as I see something like that going on, I'm going, that is amazing, and then it pushes me a little bit further to want to see what else can be done with it. So I think the more that we have those spaces to be able to one just be open to creativity and being able to find out new ways to be able to do things and just applying it in a variety of different situations, I think that is so powerful. And I would encourage, especially, I've shared this story in trainings and workshops I've done, but I go back to a teacher who I will always be indebted to, and it was my one of my English teachers in high school. We were reading the story of Beowulf, and I just remember being able to, or we were tasked with writing a paper. Everyone in the class had to write a paper on it, which is typical and standard. But I remember her coming up to me because I think she noticed I was struggling a little bit. And it wasn't that I couldn't do it, but it was one of those things that just, it wasn't my full self of being able to bring to that project. And she asked me basically, what would I want to do? And I was like, well, I like drawing. I like doing things along those lines. And she said, well, how about you illustrate the story? And I will tell you, that was one of the moments that I go back and I reflect on, because this is a teacher who took a moment, one, to have empathy for a student, to have a conversation with a student, to have a desire to connect and give a student an opportunity to show what they know without it fitting a regimented system. And it was one of those things where I will tell you, I spent more time reading that story, researching that story, the background of the story, more than anyone else in the classroom, because one, I didn't want to disappoint her. Two, I wanted to make sure that it was the absolute best, because other students were going to, my peers were going to see it as well. And it's those types of opportunities when we create them for students and we give our students an opportunity just to engage with their full self. It is so powerful.
Yeah, and I think that that's something that right what you hit on. Some of the at least one of the most memorable stories also that I will have from the classroom and my last year teaching in the classroom is working with, our ESL population. And sometimes, the students would, they just don't want to talk because they feel self-conscious and so on. And, I was that one teacher that always had the Chromebooks or the Chromebook Cow, computer on card on wheels or computers on wheels in the classroom. And I know I say this story all the time, but it when this young lady, I would put a Chromebook in front of her, she may not, be able to stand up in front of the class, and just because she was very shy and self-conscious of her language. But when she created what she created, spoke loudly and spoke volumes about her understanding of the concepts, because you allowed them to give that alternative creative outlet that even if they weren't going to be presenting in front of class, or maybe it wasn't just a regular standard test, but she proved to me that she knew the content, and she gave a wonderful or created a wonderful learning artifact out of it because of that, the option that you gave. So I think that's something that's wonderful, that as teachers, we need to understand that students, they learn in different modalities, it's not always the same. And sometimes as teachers, we just kind of have to let that creative juice flow, and just have the students just really, like you yourself, just found yourself just immersed in the story and wanting to
Mhm.
research, and you're illustrating. So it's something that's wonderful for students to be able to do that and take that ownership. And those that learn that way, I mean, hey, it's wonderful, you're creating something. So it's very cool. So let's talk a little bit more now as far as what you do now, as far as the creativity. Now, if those of you that are watching, and if you don't follow EduCopilot on Instagram, you definitely need to follow him on Instagram, follow him on Twitter. Some of the things that he puts out, his photos, they all tell stories, the way through the lens that he sees things through. And I'm just not talking about the camera lens, but I mean, it helps us also as consumers of that creativity see a different perspective on things. And sometimes, it's so refreshing to be able to see things differently. And, Al is somebody that I've followed on Instagram for a while, and is just very creative and very inspiring also as well. So Al, tell us some of the things that you work on as far as yourself, your creative outlets, and some of the things that we may see on Instagram and, Twitter, things that you may share.
Yeah. Where do I start? I think it's one of those things I would say when just thinking about the whole creative, just sharing visual stories. I think at my core, I love stories. I love movies. I love stories that really just grab you and just kind of you walk away, or you walk out of a movie theater, or you walk away from watching the movie or listening even to a song, and it just sticks with you. It's just one of those things, and I think that definitely when I'm sharing something where it's either a photo or video that I've created, I try to create it in a way where I'm showing this perspective of what I'm seeing, what I'm observing in life, to hopefully make others think and pause. And I'll just say for me, photography and video or videography is something that I enjoy, and it's very relaxing for me. I love street photography. Because it gives me a moment just to kind of one, get exercise that we all need. Two, it gives me an opportunity to be able to just kind of walk around and just kind of observe the world that I'm in, which oftentimes we get so busy that we miss things. We don't see the world, and they're able to engage in the world fully because we don't have those moments to pause. And I think for me, it gives me an opportunity just to kind of slow down, observe the world, address things, to be really in tune with what I'm feeling at the moment as well. And honestly, I oftentimes find myself coming back from doing something like a photo walk or doing street photography, just having just this refresh focus on being able to move forward in whatever other work that I'm doing. So I think that I would encourage anyone who is, it doesn't have to be photography, it doesn't have to be making videos, it doesn't have to be painting, drawing, whatever, but finding those creative ways that you can just kind of express yourself and not worry about what other people are thinking. To be honest with you, I've had a lot of that in my head at times of just like
Mhm.
putting something out. What are people going to think or whatever? And I'll just tell you, I think it's one of the reasons I'm a big advocate, and a friend of ours, Claudio,
Yeah.
is the same when it comes to create every day. Find a way to create every day. Just do something, one little thing, because it builds this habit, and it's a healthy habit that I think can be applied in so many different areas in our lives. So I would just encourage everyone to take those moments and step out. If you love photography, check out and connect with me on Instagram. I share photos there often. When it comes to typically Twitter is a little more education focused that I share. But yeah, 100%.
Awesome. So I'm going to show your website here, guys. So you can go ahead and also go to educopilot.com, and you can check out Al's page. And it is amazing. It is full of resources. I mean, he's got a blog. He's got a gear kit if you are interested or you may want some information on how to get started. Al sets this up for you in such a way that you can just go through it, find your price range, or kind of see where it is that you want to go, or whatever it is that you want to start creating. He definitely gives that to you. But one of the things that I love here, and for those of you, all of you that may be watching, and those of you that are watching, please share this with your friends. But he's got this creativity app database. Now, if you are an app smasher, here we go, guys. I mean, there is so much stuff here where he puts everything in here with a description of what it does. And this is just to help you start with that creativity, help you just, if it's just simple iPhone photography, if it's photography with cameras, or even on, Chromebooks, things of that sort. He's got a lot of stuff here for you. So please check out his website. I will go ahead and put the link in on our chat. But Al, go ahead and tell us just a little bit about what your inspiration was here with this creativity app database.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. I think for me, it's always been I'm definitely the curious mind that likes to just kind of explore and try things. So over my time in education, even before, I just like being able to try things out, see if it worked in my workflow. I've said this in workshops that I've done before. I always encourage people to, when it comes to apps, date around. Don't be so caught up in using this one specific app that you don't look and see what's out there. Try different ones. You'll notice that there's several photography apps. There's apps for you to be able to create videos. There's apps to be able to edit photos. There is a variety of things that are there. So you don't need to be caught up in, oh, this is the one thing I should use all the time. Find the thing that is going to work best for you. Let your students be able to jump on and be able to find the thing that's going to work for whatever you're trying to do, and give that flexibility for them to be able to say, I will tell you that every app that is on there, I've personally either used or have tried for an extended period of time. I don't want it to become something where it is, there is going to be a point where I can say that it will be larger than it is now, but it is one of those things where I don't want it to become this death valley of, hey, things are posted and then the links don't work, it's broken, or it's like this app isn't even available anymore. So it's something that it's kind of it's a baby that I'm kind of nurturing to make sure that it grows and it continues to be value. And then I'll also say one of the great things is, I love the education community because I think that when we work together to be able to make good resources, they can become great. And I think one of the things I've really enjoyed is hearing from other educators of reaching out to me on Twitter or Instagram and just kind of seeing the value of what's there, but then also thinking about things that would be really beneficial for their students. And I've made some tweaks to the database to be able to improve it. So I would encourage you, if you jump on and you notice something or you have an app, there's a link on there that you can say, hey, this is an app. Just be mindful it's not going to be something that I will put up immediately, because typically when someone submits something, I want to go try it out. I want to play with it and just kind of make sure it's something that doesn't have like some quirk that would be an issue, and at least be able to communicate that. But then I will definitely add those to the list and continue to hopefully grow it to something where it's a one-stop shop for you to be able to find the perfect, and I use perfect very loosely, the perfect tool to be able to use for your projects.
Awesome. And it is a great resource. And some of those apps that you have there are what have inspired me also to continue creating. And I just got really excited about that because, again, it's not, I just pick and choose and I'm learning. And sometimes, it can happen that, people just get really excited for the app, and then they just kind of use it. They really don't explore it all the way through and see all the potential because they just want to hop on to the next thing. So, it's something that I'm thankful that you're, like you said, you're nursing it slowly, but that allows me also to digest things very slowly and go through it and see what works and see what doesn't, or at least for what I'm trying to do. But that's great. And I also wanted to share your Instagram page here, instagram.com/educopilot. And you can go ahead and see some of Al's work right here. Now, this one,
it's great that there's donuts have to be the most recent.
Yes, that one was the most recent one. And I remember, Claudio and everything. I was just like, you know what, that looks so good. I was like, I wish we had these, around here in our area. But apparently I learned from Claudio and from you, I think, that they don't ship, or actually they posted.
Yeah, it was really disappoining. It was a sad moment.
Yes, but yes, you can see, as I'm scrolling down some of the pictures, with of Al here, and just so simple, but they all tell a story, and it's just his creative outlet. And each picture, really, if you get down to it and you click on these pictures and you read, some of the posts, it's very inspiring just because somebody is willing to put themselves out there, whether good or bad. And I know, like Al says, for us as I'm considering myself a creator, but we're all creators. Many times we are our own worst critics, and we don't want to put things out at all whatsoever because we're just scared of what other people might say. Going into Instagram, I just want to share this with the audience, and I told you you're probably going to want to put mute because you're not going to want to hear this, because I told Al that I was going to talk him up, because one of the things is these last 2 weeks have been just really amazing in the fact that Claudio, and hopefully we can get Claudio on the show. I've sent him some DMs.
He needs to be here now.
Yeah, I sent him some DMs. I sent him everything, and he hasn't replied. I know he's probably busy with the start of the school year and everything, but hopefully we can get him on the show. But gentlemen, just like you, Al Thomas, and like Claudio, it's just so great to just be able to post something, and someone like you and Claudio just say, hey man, just keep going. Hey, keep creating. And so when I posted something recently, started messing around actually with an app that Claudio suggested, which was the Photoshop Cam app, and took a picture like 3 weeks ago. And I've been using that same picture, but tweaking it, making different things and creating off of it because it's great. And I know some people are probably tired of that picture, but you can always find something new to do and add in a different iteration and so on, that just gives it more, I guess, I don't know, you just let you get more creative. But I wanted to tell the audience that Al and Claudio actually got me out of like a creative rut. It had been prior to, a couple of years back, just constantly creating, being on Instagram, sharing, posting, and things of that sort. And then that kind of just stopped a bit just because, it gets busy, work, things of that sort. And then, you go through seasons of life. But recently, it was just so great to just pick up that app, take some pictures, and even my wife helps me out. I was like, hey, take a picture of me like this, take a picture of me like that. And so she's part of the process. So it's great that we're both in it.
Does she charge you?
No, she doesn't charge me at all whatsoever. But every once in a while, she's like, honey, can I go? So of course, here's the card. Go ahead. No, but she's wonderful. But it's great that, she helps me out with that. But I did share a picture on there once with a quote that you shared with me, and I think that was for me one of the moments that really just everything kind of clicked. And it's kind of like, you have that one teacher where you know you I don't know, they just inspire you. And so with watching you and watching Claudio, I got just really inspired. And so it was a picture here. I'm going to go ahead and just share the screen. And it's this one right here. And prior to that, this was the original picture, but you gave this quote and it just really stuck with me. And it was just make space for your creative muscles to grow. To me, that one line was just very transformational, I guess you'd say. And it just really said, yeah, you know what? Like, how does somebody build muscle? Well, by practicing repetition. You just keep doing and keep working and things of that sort. And then from then on, just starting to create new things. Yeah. I'm not signed on, but I mean, my pictures, things of that sort, and things that I'm doing, I was just like, this is just some amazing stuff that, here's that picture again. And like I told you, just a different iteration, different things. But
I think that needs to become a sticker. I'm pretty sure Sticker Mule has some type of deal going on, because they always do.
Just to let you know, this is the proof from Sticker Mule. I did create some stickers.
Awesome. So it looked like for a moment that it may have been, and I was just like, yeah, I can definitely see that being a great sticker, and I need one.
So that's coming your way. And but anyway, I just wanted to just openly just say thank you, because it's people like you, creators like you, that are on Instagram, that you not only are doing your thing and sharing your stories with the world, whether it's, like you said, through video, whether it's through pictures, even through just donuts, just you're brightening someone's day. I mean, somebody sees that, they're gonna smile and be like, oh man, look at that, a donut. But it really, really just got me out of that rut that I had been in and not being able to create. And like I was telling you earlier, it's like, it's really just helped me take and just go out there and just put myself out there, and that's the way you learn. And same thing with Claudio, he always says, just put it out there, create. So not a day goes by where I try and do either one or two little things and just put them out there. It's like, hey, you know what? This is me. I just want to share with you maybe this picture because at this time it looks this way because I felt this way, and so on and so forth. But it's been great. So thank you for what you do and for your inspiration.
No, I definitely appreciate that. I think, one, I would just say, I think the remarkable thing about this whole process is the fact that, as you share how something that I shared with you, or shared out, had an impact, it's taken a step back and even looking at the people who shared something that was an inspiration for me to even create that. So that's one of the reasons why I think it's so important for us to get out of our own way, and actually step out and start to create. Because sometimes, like you said before, we can be our own worst enemy. We can talk ourselves out of it. We can come up with every reason why. And I would just encourage, before you get to that fifth or sixth why you shouldn't do it, just put it out. And I love the fact that you have discovered something, you're using it, you're creating, and then you're iterating off of that, and you're coming up with new variations and versions of that, because those are things that you can apply in other situations to be able to improve things. We know how the school year goes. Every year you're doing a lot of things that are very similar, and how you can just make those subtle tweaks that may make all the difference. So I think it's one of those things, you're stretching that muscle in a space that may not necessarily be right at home with what your career path is, but it's a transferable skill that you can take into a variety of different areas, and that it's a skill that I would say students need to learn. Students need to understand the importance of them being able to not be consumers, but be creators of content, and to be very comfortable. And I would even say that I think it's one of those things where our students are oftentimes very comfortable in being able to create content or create something, but oftentimes they're not comfortable in an education setting doing it.
Yes.
And I think that if you talk to students, when they're with their friends and they're doing things, I've shared, and I don't know if you play video games or anything, but and this may lose like half your audience, but there's a video game called Destiny, and I think it's one of those things where I share that game, which I do not play anymore in my younger days when I had less gray hair. But when I played the game, it was one of those things that the amount of coordination, the amount of problem solving, the amount of trying to find creative ways to be able to solve a problem in game, and the collaboration was just huge. Students are doing those things that when they're at home. So I think the more we can create those opportunities, and oftentimes it's going to mean as a teacher, as an educator, when I'm in front of my students, they need to see me fail at something. They need to see me putting stuff out that doesn't look great, even though it may be something that this is a huge just kind of window that just allows someone to really just kind of see all the things that they could do, and then they start creating. So yeah, I appreciate the kind words, but it's one of those things I would tell you. You're you may be standing on my shoulders to be able to jump out and start creating, but I've stood on others'
Yeah.
shoulders to be able to learn and grow. And I'm just a product of all the things I've learned from others, the encouragement, the pushing. So yeah, I have an obligation to be able to do the same, and I will not shy away from being able to just say, yeah, keep creating, keep getting better.
Yeah.
Because the goal is that when I'm in that rut, when I'm in that moment where I don't feel like creating anymore, I can look over and I can see another educator who's doing it, and that gives me that little boost that they go. Claudio and I have that, I think, often, where we have moments where I think where we're creating, but it's also just kind of one of those things where the routine may get a little stale, and it's just kind of like, hey, here's something where he thinks outside the box and does something really creative, and then maybe I do something really creative, and then it's just kind of one of those things where I think it feeds off, and that happens so much within this space, or could even happen more if we just open ourselves up. So, what I would say, and someone shared this with me a very long time ago, and that was, you don't know who's waiting on you to do that thing. Like there is something that you keep denying
I like
yourself to
that.
do, and there's someone that is just standing there waiting for it to see it, to be able to engage with it, to be able to come across it. And it is so important for us to get out of our own way, because that one thing that you're doing could be the thing that pushes someone to not make a poor choice. It could be the thing that pushes someone to try a new career path or a new path that they didn't even think that they can do. And it is just so important for us to allow that to happen.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. Like the way you summed it up, and it's just kind of like that. You're paying it forward, and to me, and that's the whole premise of the show. Like the reason that the show is that I created this, or just this idea came up, is because of the people that have inspired me in such a way that they've either boosted me in seeing things a different way, different modalities of teaching, learning new things. And like yourself being in here, to me, this was a very special thing, because it's like, the premise of the show is to bring people that have influenced me so that other people can get to know them, see them, and maybe, like you said, looking through that, like I love that quote, you don't know who's waiting on you to do that thing. Maybe when they see what you have, maybe that's the thing that they need to boost them up. And then now, we've got more people that we're connecting with. They're opening up, they're creating. I know I saw Omar Lopez here, and Omar
Mm-hmm.
is an amazing creator. Like the things that he does with sketchnoting and just
Mm-hmm.
his artistic eye are just mind blowing to me, that I still want to learn. I told him, it's like, once I ever get an iPad, I was like, I'm definitely going to have to
The,
get some lessons,
you do
you
not
know?
need an iPad. Just once again, just do it.
Yeah, so just do that. And but again, it's just wonderful that we can be here as educators, but still learning, continuing our learning, and be able to inspire others, just like you did for me. And I'm pretty sure, the people before you did for you. So Al, I just really want to thank you for just taking the time to be here and just sharing yourself, your heart, sharing your just your mindset, with people, just to be creative. Just go
Yeah.
out there and just do it.
Yeah. And I want to take a moment just to say, I think I would applaud the fact that you're doing the work. Like it's so often that people have a dream, have a thought, have a situation, and they never put anything to it. So I applaud that you have put this together, and that you're sharing your heart, and you're coming on camera to be able to share content that's just going to make an impact. So yeah, keep doing it. Definitely appreciate the opportunity to come on and speak to your audience.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey, and if you can put in a good word for me with Claudio and see if he'll
No, I'm gonna have a
contact me.
hard conversation with him.
Tell
And
him,
if
hey,
you ha-
I DM'd him on Instagram and then on Twitter and no response.
yeah, I would just tell you, if you this is I will do it since, and you can blame me, but I would tell all your everyone here just to go DM or message Claudio just to remind him. He's a great guy, and like I said, if you've not seen any of his content on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram that he shares out, he has a ton of things that, and he is worth a follow. I think that there's definite something that you'll pick up and learn. But it is definitely one of those things where he is running and creating, but also has a full time job as well. So, but yeah, I will definitely give some gentle nudges, as gentle as I can be.
There you go. Well, Al, again, thank you so much. And audience members, all of you, seriously, from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you for making us part of your morning. I thank you for all of your support and all of you that follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter at TechTeacher1381, Instagram, TechTeacher1381. We've got our YouTube channel. Just right now, if you're watching on YouTube, give us a like. Go ahead and subscribe to our channel, guys. And we're going to have some more great content, more great interviews. And again, my EdTech Life is about connecting educators one show at a time, and the people that I bring on are truly people that have inspired me that I want to share with you, because again, they may be doing that one thing you're waiting on somebody to see or to do to get you going and get your creative juices flowing. So again, thank you again, Al. And for all our supporters right now, I'm going to pop in the link and we will choose some winners. And we've got some My EdTech Life holographic stickers, we've got the round stickers, and we've got the die cut stickers. The other me stickers, they're on their way from Sticker Mule. So I'm going to go ahead and pop in the link.
And
And
before you do that,
okay.
I will also throw in one.
Ah,
So whenever you do, we'll throw in one of my new ones as well.
all right, perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and pop in that link, and we'll go ahead and
And
select
hopefully I
our
win.
we'll select our winner. And of course, we know that our guests do get a sticker, but I'm going to wait till I get that other me sticker so I can share with Al. And,
Definitely.
and it all started off as a joke. I was like, for $9, I was like, I'll just make a sticker of myself. But you know what? Why not put myself out there? And, that's what it's all about, just putting yourself out there and see what happens. But
You have to.
yeah, you have to. All right, guys. Well, go ahead and fill out that form. Again, give us a like, share this video with your friends. Please visit EduCopilot's website, educopilot.com. And again, he's got great gear kits if you're interested in starting your vlogging, if you want to do pictures, things of that sort. Feel free
And
to,
also just reach out. Like if you
yeah,
have questions, because I am like I have a level of knowledge and I am a resource. So if you have a question, feel free to DM me on Instagram or reach out on Twitter. If I can answer a question, I can help. I'm here for you.
perfect. Awesome, man. Well, thank you guys, everybody. Y'all enjoy your wonderful Saturday. And don't forget, stay techie, my friends.